But I felt the storm coming fast, it broke the wall. Scattered glass across the floor. I know this is the final war. There's no use trying to pretend. There's no way to comprehend. No way back, no way to mend. This means we have to end. Take your broken wrist and go. You're not welcome anymore. There's no forgiveness in these eyes. Been down this road too many times. Take your brokenness and go. Baby, I can't fix that hole. I'm done being the target of the crazy lies. Do what you can to save your life. Clean words in the evil way. You make the strongest person brave. You make me feel less than small. You tore me like a wrecking ball. You hit like an earthquake. There's no room for one mistake. Pick up your stuff and leave. Agree to disagree. So take your broken wrist and go. You're not welcome anymore. There's no forgiveness in these eyes. Been down this road too many times. Take your brokenness and go. Baby, I can't fix that hole. I'm done being the target of your crazy lies. Do what you can to save your life. You came with darkness, now I'm turning for light. You can taste it up. Won't you understand? Take your broken wrist and go. Baby, I can fix that hole. I'm done being the target of your crazy lies. Do what you can to save your life. Take your broken wrist and go. You're not welcome anymore. There's no forgiveness in these eyes. And I was wrong so many times. Take your brokenness and go. Baby, I can fix that hole. I'm done being the target of crazy lies. Do what you can to save your life. Take your brokenness and go. You're not welcome anymore. There's no forgiveness in these eyes. And down this road too many times. Take your brokenness and go. Baby, I can fix that hole. I'm done being the target of your crazy lies. Do what you can to save your life. Oh,
Yeah, that's my birthday.
take your brokenness and go. Just walk away.
It has been a little while since I've been over here. Good evening and welcome to all of my new supporters and welcome back to all of my returning supporters. It's your girl, Raymond Woman, coming to you with a special message specifically for my fellow Black women. And I'm so glad to actually be coming to deliver this message. I hope this message finds you in good spirits and in good heart. But if not, hopefully by the time I'm done speaking to you and speaking this message, you will be. The first thing I want to say to you, Black woman, is that you are a very special woman. You are a very unique type of woman. And quite honestly, there really is no other woman in this world that compares to you. Let that sink in. You are the most diverse type of woman in this world when it comes to your looks, when it comes to your style, when it comes to your complexion, when it comes to your texture of your skin, of your hair. I mean, you're a very unique woman. And there are so many variations. of the black woman. And no one can mingle with a black woman and you not show up in the next phone. That's how strong your genes are, how strong you are on the inside. Now you don't hear this kind of message very often. In fact, this is probably a very unpopular message. And why is that? Because the last thing they ever wanted a black woman to do was to feel comfortable in America and any other place in this world besides our own country, the motherland. But you are supposed to be here. And you're supposed to be here just the way you are. Just the way you are designed. They've been trying to whitewash you, whitewash us from the moment they brought us to America. And we were dispersed to other places. They've been trying to make us be the least desired. So much so to the point that we don't even desire ourselves. And it's been working. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because of this, and to help with this, for so long, there was never really any images of black women on television, in movies, commercials, anything regarding acknowledging your complexion, being beautiful for just what it is, without needing to change it, alter the different shapes of our bodies. I mean, we're the most diverse type of woman in the world. Our features vary, and they're all phenomenal. But because of the attempted whitewashing and being surrounded with society's standard of beauty, that the white meat, that the non-black meat wanted to set the standard, being the white woman, then it was very, very hard, almost impossible, but not impossible, but almost impossible for you to embrace who you are, to embrace your complexion, especially if you were dark skin. The darker your skin, the harder to embrace your blackness. They mocked the black woman for so long. Oh, they mocked her. They mocked the way that she would look. They mocked her complexion. They mocked the texture of her hair, which we couldn't do with it. So they thought that we couldn't do it. And what we chose to do with it. They mocked our curves, the shape of our bodies, especially. Then they fetishized it. They over-sexualized it. They mock our facial features, even our eyes. They mock our nose. They mock the black woman's lips. And then what they did was they began to really pick the black woman apart and decided that they would try to emulate the black woman by picking her apart and picking the parts about her that they actually admired, that they talked down upon for her to hate herself, to try to accomplish that for themselves. So the big lips that they mocked, they began to plump their lips. So their lips would look a little bit more full. Oh, but before that, they would draw lines on their face, around their mouth to make their lips look bigger and look fuller. But they just couldn't quite get that plump right. So they learned to do injections to get your lips black on your lips. The lips that you now use makeup to try to slim in. The lips that you now try to draw lines and make your lips look thinner than what they actually are. Those lips are the lips that they now want and have been wanting. The complexion that they mock and that they try to avoid putting in magazines and putting on TV. The skin complexion they avoided putting on dolls. They wanted that complexion. So they began to tan. And when tanning was inconvenient, they created tanning boots and skin creams to obtain your complexion. And quite honestly, if you ask me, the only reason they really shame the darkest complexion of black women is because they cannot obtain your color without burning themselves. But your melanin, your complexion is the physical appearance of your melanin. And your melanin is dynamic, your melanin is powerful, your melanin is enriching, and your melanin is also a protector. And without stealing and cloning your melanin, it is impossible to take on and achieve. They used to mock you so much and try to shame black women for so much for being dark and being black that the one thing that's actually very good for you, good for us, the sun, they made us not want to be in the sun for fear that you would get dark, white washing, rain washing, my black woman, my sister. And then this began to work really good, so much so that we as black women, as black girls, mock each other for our different looks. We mock each other about our hair texture. We mock each other about the shapes of our bodies. or we try to imitate, emulate another woman's body. And black woman, my fellow black woman, I'm here to tell you that your authentic self, your authentic design was created just for you. And if you can only really and truly embrace that, then and only then will others really begin to express their appreciation and have respect for who you are and how you are designed, how you are shaped. Oh, they did a number on this black woman. My sisters, they've done a number on us. We naturally, in general, we naturally have curves, unlike any other one. There's so much that we can do, even if we choose to play in hair and makeup, which, hey, let me tell you, I am as natural as I am. I love playing. I'm a woman. I'm girly. I love playing in hair and makeup too. It's fun. It's so much fun being a woman. I just simply wouldn't have it any other way than being a woman. But not to change how I look, not to shame my original design. So I like it just like the rest of us, just like any other woman. But the whitewashing, for you to feel like unless you have a full face of makeup, you can't even leave the house. Which ironically, I find it strange that black women will avoid leaving the house with a full face of makeup, but will walk out with a bonnet on their head. You have a full face of makeup, your face will be fully made up, and yet you'll have on a bonnet or pajamas. And I don't get it. But that's another stream, another conversation. Just want to really talk to you about embracing, accepting your original design. Look in the mirror. And if you've never heard this before, especially if you're dark skinned, if you grew up in a family where you were literally the black sheep because of your complexion, the black sheep in school, I'm going to ask that you try to be a little bit gracious for anyone in your family that made you feel less than because of your complexion. And the reason why I'm going to ask you to be a little bit gracious with them is because keep in mind that we're not too far removed from slaves being free in America. And during enslavement, in the first initial periods thereafter, white people did everything they could to make black people feel less than them and any other race of being. So it took and takes time to recover from that. So this is why I ask that you be gracious towards your family members, your older, even if it was your mom, or your older aunts or whatever, for not being able to teach you how to embrace your blackness because they had not embraced it themselves. But now, black woman, now is the time. And I'm telling you, I think it's got to be a sense of urgency now. Because we're getting to a point to where black women, especially the darker haired women, are not going to be dominant. But that's not a bad thing. And the reason why that's not a bad thing, because you get to stand out if you allow yourself to, even more. Even more. I don't know if you've noticed, to even realize, black woman, that the very people that oftentimes shame you for being a black woman and all that makes you who you are have been changing who they are all of the time, who they were all the time, never embracing, never really accepting fully who they were. Very few. But none of them are as diverse. None of them are as have as many variations of themselves as the black woman. And if only we could now, more than ever, begin to embrace our blackness, every single bit of it, and what makes us unique, even from other black women, and encouraging other black women to do the same, so that we can really appreciate each other's beauty and what makes each other different, so that every bit of us could be shown, the different variations of us could be seen and celebrated. And there's so much that we can do. Again, playing with hair and makeup just for fun and just for change without literally changing ourselves. And there is no other woman that can do that in this world like us, black woman. None. I would love to see it be so. That for you, when someone tried to say anything derogatory to you or about you regarding your blackness, instead of being offended or instead of feeling insecure about it, you would thank them for saying, thank them for acknowledging it and smile. Don't even argue with them about it. Most people that are trying to shame you are only trying to shame you because they're not comfortable in their own skin or their own life. It's something about them. So it's easier to try to pick at you because you're supposed to be less than anyway. But in all essence, you're not. And I'm talking about if they came with even the harshest of words they could say regarding your blackness. You take it on the chin because your skin, your beautiful, melanated, textured skin would be so thick that they couldn't penetrate. They would have to come with something different. And if it sounds like what I'm saying is a lot easier said than done, well, I know that it's possible because I live that every single day of my life. And I would not have it any other way. I am a dark skinned woman and I love it. Matter of fact, I'm not the darkest of dark. Oh, but if I were, I would probably embrace it even more because I love my dark skin that much. So a person could never say, "Look at you, you old darky, or you ain't nothing but a, you ain't nothing but an old black child or something," and make me feel bad because it's beautiful. Now I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with any other complexion. Because again, I recognize the different variations of complexions within us. It's all to be celebrated. I'm just saying that because I am who I am and I embrace and I love my design, that you can't make me feel bad about it at all. My blackness. My blackness is a beautiful thing. I feel so good about my blacks. I think that it may offend somebody trying to offend me, that I cannot be offended. My facial features are rather petite. They are. The biggest features on me, my biggest facial feature are my eyes. Yeah, my eyes. And I love giving eye contact. Yes, I do. Because my eyes make a statement all by themselves. And when I have my eyes made up, as I sometimes do, my eyes are literally a sight to see. And my hair. Oh, I have some old kinky hair, y'all. Boy, oh boy. I mean, I have kinky hair. Matter of fact, I even say my hair is nappy. I have nappy hair. And I love it. I don't consider myself a natural woman. I consider myself a natural black woman. And there's nothing that anyone could say about my hair. I don't care how I'm wearing it or how I'm not wearing it. There is nothing that anyone could say to me about my hair that make me feel bad about my hair. But let me tell you how it begins and how it began for me. Number one, as a child, I was fortunate to grow up in a family, and my mother is yellow. I have a light-skinned mother. And matter of fact, pretty much every variation of color, complexion, and texture of skin and hair of women are in my family. We have not missed not a single shade. We have not missed not a single undertone, not a single one. But I was fortunate enough to be raised in a family where all our variations were embraced, were loved on, were encouraged, and were just loved, period. And then it was for me looking in the mirror and just and noticing that I was different, you know, that I was darker than some of my friends or the some people I went to school with, but and how people a lot of times would look at this little black girl. I used to get the backhanded, what I would call the backhanded compliment, and that is, oh, that's a pretty black child. Oh, oh, she's so pretty to be so dark. She's so pretty. How about I'm just pretty, period, and I'm dark? How about that? Because that is what it is. That's a backhanded compliment. Either you're pretty or you're not. But are you beautiful? Are you nice to be around? But I just thank God for being that kind of different. And for my hair being, you know, the thing that I found the honest more than anything though was when I would get the strange comments from my own people, especially other black girls. Oh, let me tell you, those other black girls, you know, the light skins. Oh, they hated when somebody they like a dark skinned woman. Oh, they can't stand it. When somebody that they likes a dark skinned girl, oh, they couldn't stand it. But whether they could stand it or not was totally irrelevant. It was about me being aware. So yes, black woman, it's possible. You just gotta look in the mirror. And you just gotta, I mean, just really, 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 really take a look at you in the mirror. I mean, from your head to your toes, every crevice of you, and see it and look at it for what it really, really is. And thank God for it. Look at yourself without comparing yourself to anyone else. Look at yourself in the mirror, just butt naked. I mean, bucket naked. Look at yourself in the mirror, bucket naked, as if there is no other woman in the world. And tell yourself, what do you see? And that is good. It's got to be. The only reason you believe anything about it is not good is because of people. But God looked at your design and said it was good. Now you tell me, why would anyone else's opinion matter above God's opinion of you? Why? Make that make sense. And if you have daughters, your daughter probably needs to hear this. So she should hear from you. Your daughter should hear this from you. how beautiful they are by design. And I'll tell you this, when you get really comfortable and when you really, really begin to embrace who you are, you will find more things about you to appreciate. And the more things you find about you to appreciate, it'll be a little easier every time to speak that kind of life and beauty to another background. And it'll be a lot easier for you to hear the insecurities and the lack of confidence and the lack of security, the lack of esteem in those that try to shame you for who you are and how you look. Because their insecurities would speak so loudly. But now, let me tell you something though. You don't have to go back and try to do a counterattack on them. You know why? Who they are or who they are not is already eating them up alive from the inside out. That's why they're trying to shame you. That's why they're trying to attack you. Make it make sense. I can't make it any clearer than that background. I really can't. Embrace yourself and love yourself. You cannot love yourself without first embracing yourself. And you can't embrace yourself without first accepting yourself. And you can't accept yourself without first examining yourself. So, black woman, my fellow black women, my message to you is go be yourself. Free yourself to be yourself. Reign woman, love your design. I can't say I love you anything else about you because I'm not looking at you. Ain't got to been around you to say I love anything else about you. I can't see your personality. I can't see your character. But if you have good character and you have a nice personality, then I love you from the inside too. But right now, talk about the outside. And I promise you, we're going to get the inside together too. We got to get the inside together too. Yeah, we're gonna get to the inside. We're gonna get to the inside because you can't be pretty on the outside and accept who you are and embrace your outside and be ugly on the inside. At least that's not what I would desire for you to be because that's not you being a better woman. And I'm here to help you to be a better woman, and you can help me to be a better woman. And our environment will be so much better because of it. I promise you that. And the world will be better because of it. I promise you that. And you will be more valuable because of that. I promise you that. And with that being said, it's your girl, Rainy One, talking to you, woman to woman. I love you. Thank you, Seal, for your chaos rain for being in the chat room. Peace.